Dann lasst uns mal über ein Thema sprechen, was...
So, let's move on now to some topics that are really important, both in the game, but also in the game of football itself. Finances, the transfer market, training, and so on. Thomas, as a coach, how much insight do you get into the club's finances?
Also tatsächlich nicht viel.
Well, actually, not much, I must admit. I have a very close relationship with my sports manager, Christian Heidel, and he knows the financial situation, so I count on his word. We generally set up our sports strategy. This is my field, and I have the responsibilities here. The financial feasibility is checked by the club's management. It's really important to me that I don't know my players' salaries. I don't know their ranking either. I have no idea who is in the first third and who's in the last. I don't want myself to get influenced by this, not even subconsciously. The salaries are a matter of negotiation in a different area, and that's why I personally don't have much insight into the finances and count on the word that we're doing great at the moment. And I hope that my salary comes in on time.
In FIFA Manager, the player must have an overview of the financial state of the club. This is part of the game's principle. It's essential to keep an eye on the finances. This is what's been requested by the players after all. Gerald, how important is monitoring finances for the players really? You can say that, especially in Germany, players really want the finance section to be simulated in very much detail and to be able to influence it. In past years, we haven't done much in this area because it gets very technical and you have to integrate schemes that differ a lot. For example, we have now added fan bonds, which people have been asking for years. I like this because it does happen in the Bundesliga or lower leagues from time to time. Another thing we've put in this year is, for example, the sponsor pyramid. This is also a topic that's been hanging in the air for a few years, as nowadays you don't just have one main sponsor and then that's it. There's much more to it than that. That's why we've changed a lot in this area. The members also play an important part. We've structured the finance section differently for different countries. Well, at least the incomes. In some countries, gate receipts are much higher. We have countries like Germany where sponsoring is really important. Other countries have very high broadcast income. We've tried to include all of this, and I think that this year it will be a lot of fun, especially for those players who've been playing for more than 1, 2 or 3 years and want to start over again, building up their club over 10, 15 or possibly even 20 years, starting in a lower league. There is really so much to discover in this area. Well, luckily it's not just about money, which doesn't score any goals, as they say. Football is also played. This is the players' daily routine. So, what's the daily routine like in Mainz? What do the players do apart from their training sessions?
Well, we have an average of 7 training units in 5 days. There is 1 day off, 2 days after a regular match, and there is 1 regular match in a regular week. In addition to his training units, it's really important for a player to take personal responsibility for care, recovery, for injury prophylaxis, in cooperation with the physical therapists, osteopaths and the doctors. This is additional time he has to invest. Players get individual training plans from the athletic department, the fitness coach, as well as the physical recovery therapists, which he has to attend in addition to his regular training units. Sometimes by himself, sometimes in small groups. In addition to that, the club makes appointments where the players act on the club's behalf, such as sponsor appointments, autograph sessions, promotions, attendance at youth days and so on. It adds up, really. It's also very important that they are aware of nutrition and recovery at home as well. We shouldn't waste a lot of energy on things that are not linked directly to the match itself.
How can the FIFA Manager player influence the player's loss of energy in a positive way? What controls of the training routine, as well as the daily routine, does the player have in the game? Well, this year we do have a detailed calendar again. We have a weekly calendar, and every day there are 4 options to do something with the players and to set training units. The 4 options can be set with a training unit, a recovery or a fitness unit, or whatever the manager thinks is appropriate. You also have different training groups with individual training units. I think that we're not too far away from reality here. Of course, you have to stay realistic. If you set one unit, it won't be 2 hours in real time, so that the player gets raced across the pitch for 8 hours in total. I think it's clear to everyone that this is not a good idea. Sometimes there are situations or training situations that definitely stand out from what the daily routine of a trainer offers. Are there certain situations for you, Thomas, that you'd like to experience with a club for a few weeks, just to try them out, and without changing the club?
A situation that I would like to be in? Well, I certainly don't want to be in a relegation battle. Generally, I love local derbies. This was always a dream when I was a kid, and live broadcasts weren't so common. I dreamt of AC Milan versus Inter, or Arsenal versus Tottenham, or Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Experiencing that, being part of it, feeling the emotions and preparing the team for such a match would be really appealing. A World Cup, a European Championship, that's something to wish for, no matter which team. To be playing in a tournament that big is the biggest challenge a manager can face. And if I could choose, I would love to do that.
Well, that's a good cue. In FIFA Manager, you can actually choose the situation. You have match day situations, relegation battles, or a scarcely missed cup win, as actually happened to Schalke 04 once. So in FIFA Manager, you can really simulate all these situations with the new feature Live Season. Gerald, can you explain to us what exactly that is? Well, Live Season is an additional service. With Live Season, you can download the current season data on a weekly basis. You have all the scorers, the assists, injuries, everything that happened in reality is in the database. And then you can choose one of all the match days and start your game at the exact point where you told yourself that you would jump in and give it your best. We've got Live Season for a total of 11 leagues. In Germany, we have the 3 top leagues. You just choose the club, the situation, and then just start there. I think this is a really exciting thing, as every club has one or more situations during a season where you'd say, I will start right there and try to save it. This is fascinating in a relegation battle just as much as in the battle for a cup. This year, we also wanted to have the player data updated, giving us integrated database updates, so that it's all in there. We've realized that match days often get changed, especially when you have different countries involved. This can obviously make things a bit tricky, but it's all easily solved with an additional database download, which ensures that all the data is kept right up to date. The service costs $4.99 per season, and if you pre-order the game on EA Origin, you even get it for free. So, many thanks for all that information on finances and the transfer market. Next time, we'll be speaking about my feature.